Society.tv.
Welcome back to Glastonbury Tournament 2021. Second last game of the day, and it is the plate final for this very glamorous plate. Isn't it a nice little bit of woodwork, isn't it?
Yeah,
really lovely little bit of woodwork. Ben Juris alongside alongside Lorcan Murray, as always. This is being competed for by the Beardevils against 22HV.
HV positive.
You've been talking to 22HV. Give me 1 second. Why are they called 22HV? It's a very unusual name.
Well, what they are is effectively a team of Bristol alumni, but not Mythigon.
Different team of Bristol.
Different team of Bristol alumni who have all lived, or I assume passed out in, a house that's known as 22HV. I think anyone who's been a part of a varsity ultimate team will be familiar with the idea of the Frisbee house. Every club tends to have one.
At least one, yeah.
A bunch of people who wind up living together. Exactly, at least one. 22HV is a very prominent one. A lot of people really learned a lot about themselves, a lot about what they're capable of, a lot about what they can do and become in this life, in a very positive, very pure social atmosphere.
All right,
22HV plus.
Yeah, good. Love it. And they very helpfully emphasised that, but they've all got 22 on the back of the jerseys and Highbury, which I assume is what, 22 Highbury View or something?
Perhaps.
Yeah. I might have just doxed them. Whoops. Maybe they don't live there anymore. They're all alumni, so they definitely don't live there anymore.
Yeah, I'd say that house is ashen remain.
On the other side, we have the Beardevils, which is another Bears alumni team. Most of them graduated in 2020, so relatively recent graduates from that fine academic institution. They've got a couple of people with number 42, and also Cam Sam, who went to Brighton, so I don't know what he's doing there. Unless he did a postgrad at Warwick that I didn't know about, which, to be fair, he might have done. A lot of stuff happened when I was in the middle of nowhere during a pandemic.
It's hard to keep track of things. I know myself. I spent a lot of time in my living room and wasn't really aware of the world.
Time just kind of didn't really exist, did it?
It's been a soupy mess for a year.
So we're going to have, starting on offense this game, it is going to be the Beardevils wearing the grey with the I tell you what, it's a spicy jersey. It's hot. There's a lot going on there. This will be Spence looking underneath for an option. Trying to find an option. Not really seeing anything he likes. Minter, still count rising, turns and looks at a reset. They seem pretty comfortable doing it at the moment. Here's Brooks.
They do look quite comfortable just going through the motions, settling themselves into this plate final.
Yeah, just trying to grind it under at the moment against this match defense. But hello, there's a little bit of spice over the top. That is fantastically reeled in by Spence. And that's the game's first goal. It goes the way of the Beardevils, and that was, maybe living up to their name there. A little bit exciting for a 1-0 lead.
It was a little bit bearing, all right. Great stuff out of the Beardevils. Nice, consistent play. Lots of swinging, taking their opens as they come down the line to them. And then Akash Millward-Bowes sees the opportunity, shoots it across, and Spence gets the score.
Do you want a good fact about Daredevils?
Sure. Daredevils?
No, just Daredevils generally. So you know Evil Knievel?
Right.
Well, his name wasn't, it was Robert Knievel. Obviously, his name wasn't actually Evil.
Oh.
But when he was in Iowa, growing up in Iowa, he spent time in the county jail for an eye, whatever. And one of the guys in the cell next to him was called, his name was Knopfel, it's pronounced Knopfel, and he was known as Awful Norful. And it was like, well, if he can be Awful Norful, why can't I be Evil Knievel? And he stole it, and then that became his name. And that's genuinely how he got it. That's there's no word of a lie. You can look this up. So here we go. On offense, this is 22H.
Charlie Haslam, who is wearing the pink tutu of shame.
Yes, I imagine we will see this rotate throughout the various players during the course of this game.
I imagine we'll see it stay on Charlie Haslam.
Oh, yeah, if he underthrows it like that, we probably will. Here's Samuels looking at the end zone. Maybe he wants to throw a bit of spice. Oh, no, boring. Just takes the simple pass towards the outside. But that's a really nice D. Underthrew it, perhaps. Showed too much of it to the sideline.
Joe Littler stepping in and slapping that one away.
Are you just picking names at random for every
player?
player?
I know everybody's name personally on this team, and I am nailing it.
Fair enough.
Prove me wrong, Internet. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give them. Be careful what you wish for. Finding option underneath. Oh, lost the footing a little bit, but that is one hell of a bang. Good Lord. inch perfect put. There you go. That's a phenomenal assist. That might be the best assist all weekend. Got to love a little bit of that, surely.
Lorna Mayo uncorking her cannon and spreading it across the pitch. Like you said, the little slip, but turns around, sees how much separation Ryan Kapma's after getting, knows she has it within the locker, uncorks it, launches it. Beautiful.
I know that you're picking these names at random.
How? How could you know?
Because isn't that Megan Daly? Here's the thing, right? They're all 22. They haven't given us any information. How are we supposed to know? Like, how are we supposed to know? Genuinely.
A lot of people have been swapping between teams, because I've definitely seen Megan Daly play on this pitch for other squads.
This is the thing with a fun tournament, you can double up, and especially because a lot of these teams come from the same areas, they'll play for like multiple like alumni teams because they're in different friend groups, or they'll play for like maybe a more serious team and a chuck around team. Here they go. That's a very low disc. That's superbly rescued by McCulloch. Going for the foot block there was Tempest. A little bit tempestuous, perhaps. Yeah, not bad. It's not my best, but fine. Here's Mirando. Looking, tries good isolation there. Finds Dan Brown in the dump. And that pass was trying to unlock the Da Vinci Code almost from Dan Brown. We having that? Couldn't quite crack the codex. Here's Nate Sanders in towards the centre. They're swinging it down the sideline, but that one is underthrown. Well, that's going to be a turnover point. I imagine a pink tutu will be slowly making its way towards Alex Thacker.
I imagine you're right. Just getting a bit too excited now. The Beardevils have a chance to go back. Alex Thacker.
Oof. That was
almost pulls that off, but that's a bit risky.
A meaty collision, certainly.
You could see how much he wanted to avoid having to put on that tutu. Almost putting his opposing number into a cast.
You say opposing number, the opposing non-number, of which I believe is Sid Spence. So I'll tell you what, they good on them because they clarified that for us. Here's Akash Millwood Bowes, who's coming in as a replacement. Zings that one into the centre for Brown. Continuation. Oh, what a bid! Phenomenal stuff there from Ryan Rapma. Looking underneath now.
Well, that's a proper cut, but it has been marked all the way.
Really physical dump defence there. Going back here, Stockley.
Cash is a nuisance in every sense of the word.
And there's a blade going deep in stride. Beautiful stuff from 22HV. Goose makes the catch, and that is 1-1.
The Spruce Goose connection. Kieran Spruce uncorking a beautiful outside in flick, arcing all the way around and connected by the Goose.
This is the thing, like, the reason they're wearing the same number is because, they've all got such good chemistry. It doesn't matter who they throw to. It's like a comfort blanket. Whoever you look at, number 22's going deep. They've got my trust. I can put that. Love to see it.
I know I can rely on them because in the dark hours of 5 in the morning after an all-night party, we've laid next to each other and both held our regrets together and slowly gotten through it. And that's just the kind of team building that you can't fake.
No, like this is, I've said this a number of times. It's something I used to love when I first started playing was you'd go to a tournament and, you would stay in a Frisbee house, like a team would put you up and that you'd host in someone's house and you'd form a relationship on a new team, and you and those teammates all being cramped into someone's front room or kitchen or spare bedroom or whatever. You got maybe a little more comfortable than perhaps you were used to, and I get that in COVID times that's maybe a little bit weird, but you lived with it and it was fun. Hello, little high release flick there from Cam Sam, and this one is lash deep, chasing it down right in stride for number 80 Owen Brooks. Beautiful hold. That one 2-1 the score.
Textbook. And that's two beautiful outside in flicks. Put out into space, go chase them down. Really competent throwing we're seeing here in the plate final, and you'd think either of these teams could have been in the semi-finals.
Well, this is the thing, maybe you just get a difficult matchup in that quarter-final and all of it, or the crossover to get into the top 8, and unfortunately you bang out of luck.
And there was a lot of exchanges in that crossover as well.
Yeah, but some of these were really tight, and only sometimes it was decided by as much as a single point. And there's a lot of decent teams in Glastonbury. I think the standard is towards the top end is pretty high this year.
Well, we saw the semi-final that just happened, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable affair. This plate final seems to be going the same way, 2-2 right now. Both teams evenly paced. We're not seeing too much variety in the defenses they're throwing out. Maybe one of them wants to go for a zone later on, but right now they're both staying fairly rudimental.
It wouldn't surprise me, actually, if maybe for the Beardevils to do it, because maybe it might be tricky trying to work out who you're marking for 22HV, because they've all got the same shirt number as this one is zinged deep. Oh, what a grab that is, because it was so close to hitting the ground. And I tell you what, Eleanor Stratton's done a phenomenal job to scoop that one.
Really impressive, and that was such active forcing going on. I thought he almost got a touch on the disc as well, but in the end, because it was coming under, lots of defensive pressure, Eleanor Stratton just showed she wanted it more, cut off her cut, angled it slightly sharper and came in and picked it up. That's desire. That's
quick
hunger.
hand, lightning quick hands as well. So it could be two pieces of I was going to say silverware, woodware coming home, if the Beardevils can win the plate final here, and the Bombay Bearsicle Cubs could win the showpiece final for our next game, the last game of the weekend on the show pitch.
So you think a bear can make a flick to win wood? Trying not to swear. As a cash picks it up.
If a bear wins a piece of wood and no one watches it on the live stream, did it really happen? Good job we're covering it then, I guess. Here we go. Here's McCulloch. There's a big, tall, long frame, and you can use that length to really pivot out and wrench those throws deep. But instead fakes it underneath, and Webster dumps it off to Spence. Spence to Millwood Bows. I wonder towards the end of the weekend whether perhaps the vast numbers of 22HV might come into their favour here. McCulloch looking downfield, but it's very cluttered down there. Handler clears through, just about gets that through to Millwood Bows. Pick downfield is going to be a temporary halt to proceedings. I'd like to see them try and get it off the line here, I think, Lorcan.
I think they have the throws to do it as well. Fake it a little bit down, plenty of people behind him, but let's see how they clear first. Oh, that is nice.
So Millwood Bows looks downfield, a little bit of jinking and jiving. The bid comes in just too late. He cannot shake that 2-2 off.
He's going to be stuck with it for another one. It makes a good effort, but you've just got to be so precise when you're coming up against these Beardevils. They have got really nice throws. And like you're saying, they've recently all graduated from Warwick University. They know each other really well, and they just keep it going nice and quick. No hesitation.
I'm interested about the player called Goose. Like, do you think it's like is it a nickname, or do we think it's genuinely just his name, like Cher or Madonna? Like it's just a mononym,
like a stage name that they've taken on for themselves.
Yeah, and like legally got their name changed to that. So just on the passport it just says Goose.
I hope so.
Me too.
In the world I like to imagine, it is.
I mean, I'll be honest, of all the characters in Top Gun to name yourself after, probably wouldn't have picked Goose.
True. But then at the same time, of all of the native waterfowl of the UK, it's not a bad one.
Well, I mean, it is. Goose are notably terrible. They're just horrible, but they are absolute jerk birds. Horrible. They made a whole game about it, and it's hilarious.
I'm saying, if you've got a problem with gooses, you've got a problem with me, and you need to let that. And I suggest you let that one marinate.
Do you mean geese?
Mooses?
Or multiple people called Goose. You've got a problem with one person called Goose, fine. You've got a problem with multiple gooses? No, I'm not having that. Fake downfield, and they're just happy to play it around at the moment. That's a lovely little find through.
That was a really great flick. Christina A with the disc.
And this is what they're doing now. They are playing some zone, maybe to try and get rid of the who are you marking, number 22, and Cam Slam with the hand block. Saw that she wanted the blade and had a palm there to reject it.
Really good defense. And you could see he knew what she was going for, and nobody made the cut, so that allowed her to just step away from the mark and do a backhand pop. And everything was asking for a flick break.
Samuels puts those little bird legs to use to scurry free down the sideline. Beautiful shot for a goal. Look, I really like I really like Cameron Samuels. It's Cam Sam. He's a decent bloke, but he does have very thin bird legs. He does. He's got bird legs, right?
I'm just going to let you keep saying it.
No, hey, look. Do you know who else was called Bird Legs?
Big Bird?
Joe Montana.
Really?
Yeah, his nickname was Bird Legs.
Well, all his career?
Yeah, not a bad comparison, really, is it?
No, I suppose. If you're saying Cam Sam is the Joe Montana of Beardevils.
Yeah, why not? Sure. Quarterbacking the offense there after the turn.
Very impressive performance.
Yeah, that was his nickname because he had very. I'm not putting that out of my arse.
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
You have been right about most things to my chagrin all weekend long. Cam Sam was also the one who got the hand block, remember?
He did, so.
Double happiness.
Good stuff. Very good stuff. So Bears now in the lead.
But it's a tight affair.
It is a tight affair. You feel that there's probably more pendulum swings back and forth here. Finding it underneath. Here's Joe Littler, a name that I definitely misread the first time it was written down. Honestly, it was like, what? Oh, right, yes. Genuinely, I was like terrified for a bit.
What? You should get that changed, Joe. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why I was like, what? Yeah. And then it's been a long weekend. I'm straining my eyes a little bit. Sometimes you just do a double take. Good defense there though, because it forced the overthrow out that far sideline, and now an opportunity to open up the first 2-point advantage of the game. It's going to go Beardevils' way if they can cash it in. Oh, that is low, but well rescued by Sid Spence. Been a very reliable receiver, I think, so far. Not just this game, but all tournament, actually, for the Beardevils in their run to the plate final. On the far side is Ali Mirando. Finds it in the centre now. Here's Brooks. Looks for an option downfield. They're getting their players free on the open side, and when they're not seeing it, they're resetting it really nicely. Comes through from the front of the stack. High, reeled in, though, by Brown. Turning around the lefty, Brown looking around, not seeing it. High stall. Oh, the Oyo! Just about caught, but it is on the end zone line, not in just yet. Looking for the toe in, pivots round, back of the end zone. That'll do it. Another break for the Beardevils. They're now 5-3 to the good.
Starting to really show their class with their continuations. Really quick plays, lots of sharp cutting, well timed. Yesterday when we were going around the fields, or going around having a lot more teams, a lot of the times we were talking about the timing wasn't quite there, or people just seem to be a little bit off and not capitalizing as much as they can. These Beardevils are not afraid. They act quickly, instinctively almost, and they are starting to pull away. Especially
last game of the weekend for you. You've been playing together for 6 games already. You've probably got those timing issues, the synchronicity that you didn't quite have earlier. You've found that now. And
certainly if you're in the position to be in the plate final, you'd want to be.
Yes. You'd be disappointed if you weren't. To be fair, if you were in the plate final and you weren't clicking, you'd be like, man, imagine if we were clicking, how good we could have gone.
That's got to be a bit of a poison chalice.
But that's the thing, obviously, when you play the crossover, you probably it's likely that you're not playing your best ultimate at that point. So Luke Annis feels the pull.
And scoopers it. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you know what? Cheeky. Nice. A little bit of creativity. More zone, it seems, from the Beardevils because it's got them turned so far. And they try and pick up the pace to 22 HV.
They look a lot more confident against this zone. Maybe they brought on some of their players who like that give and go a bit more. Got a bit stuck on that sideline, but now you can see the swing across, the movement to drag the zone, but they throw into it rather than back against it. It's a rough decision.
Trying to have the player crashing through the cup for a short option, but the cup was rise to it, and they closed and clammed in as well, so there wasn't the space available. I do think that if you want to attack a zone, you need to be able to do it in multiple ways. And that time they haven't thrown it as that one's out into space. A layout, well, I mean, there was an attempt. By Lord, there was an attempt, but it came up to nothing, and they try and pick it up, maybe thinking about the jack deep. It is gone. Oh, this is spicy. This is very spicy, and again, put in a bid. It was
for the show game. You're doing it for the fans at home. That's what we appreciate, and that's exactly what we've come to expect from Hadi Barber.
It was, at best, ambitious.
Nothing wrong with being a bit ambitious on a Sunday evening.
At least gratuitous.
Nothing wrong with being a bit gratuitous on a Sunday evening.
And at worst, foolish.
Well, I mean, every day of the week.
Oh, the pressure was just enough to force Cam Sam into the drop. Really good defense there by Hattie Barber. Could be a male name, right?
It can be both. And we can't assume people's genders.
Exactly.
Whatever you want, that's fine with us.
What's in a name anyway? Looking for the high release off. They got there in the end.
This is back to some really good clamp defense.
On the near sideline. What have you spotted, Lorcan?
Well, just that they're trying. Oh, that's a beautiful blade down and well collected.
I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication there because they seemed kind of surprised that they were, hello, it is the suspiciously open pick.
Well, that's a tough pick to call because what I was going to say is you can see the Beardevils down in the stack in the end zone. Every now and again, one of them they're keeping their heads on swivels and they're peeling off when the opportunity comes to try and steal that poach.
Looking that one around nicely, climbing the ladder a little bit there to bring that one in. Faking the higher release, but not going to throw it just yet. Maybe if he gets into an ISIL situation, we might see that come out. Instead, taking the sensible option and breaking towards the far sideline. Looks at that dump for a little bit and then tries to force it down the sideline. Just about gets away with it. Really well reeled in.
And you can see how hungry Akash was to get the block, laying out, and still the around break is just wide enough to feed it into the receiver, which I think was Christina A.
The
Fonzie of 22 HV+.
Have you ever watched any Happy Days?
It used to be on like BBC Two at like 5 or something. I used to catch it every now and again by accident. Because I remember learning the theme song as a kid. But no, it was boring as hell. I never bothered.
It's where the phrase jump the shark comes from.
Yeah, as being the moment that a TV show has gone on for too long.
Yeah, TV show, anything, a joke. Yeah, it's won its course because of the episode where...
I didn't realize it was actually an episode.
No, he literally jumps over. He literally did like a boat trick over a shark. Which is ridiculous. Sorry, Ed. You once sang the Happy Days theme tune with Dame Judi Dench. I mean, you can't just leave that out there without more elaboration.
Well, you'll have to wait for the elaboration as we are getting back. Oh, nope, that's going to be a break. So you got
break.
another 10 seconds.
Ed,
Quick.
Ed,
How did you meet
go.
Dame Judi Dench?
I was actually I was in a performance of a Shakespeare play with Judi Dench and Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, wow.
It was Coriolanus, which is a difficult one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was a young thespian. I was one of the populace of Rome in said play. And there was quite a big, sort of dramatic final scene, and I used to stand next to Dame Judi Dench, and we got chatting about Happy Days for some reason and started singing the theme tune just before she went on for this big emotional Shakespearean speech.
Well, the amazing things that normal people come across when just living their lives. I tell you what, I didn't know a man could be a thespian.
Yeah, it's a gender-neutral term, thespian, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Unless you're making a pun, and I was just a split second too late to realise it. That one's into traffic, and Spence peeled off to get in there. Potential foul call, perhaps?
It looks like it's a genuine foul call. They're fulfilling that potential. And hoping to fulfill their own, they did let Beardevils... So many bear puns.
Yeah.
They did let Beardevils...
Beardevils.
Get a bit of a lead on them, that 2-point cushion. But they're trying to fight it back, tie this game up again.
I also have a story about Dame Judi Dench that is not suitable for broadcast.
Why does everybody have do all English people have a story about Dame Judi Dench?
No, but my dad worked in the theatre for 50 years or so.
Oh yeah, both of you guys have worked in theatres.
Yeah. The Judi Dench story is very funny, but it is absolutely not suitable for broadcast. Like, completely unsuitable, but it's hilarious.
I feel like you're just teasing people at home now. If you're not going to give them the story, you can't sell it like that.
I can't, genuinely.
Maybe we can talk them into it on some other OT.TV promotion.
You can't.
So think about that, Patreons.
Oh, into traffic, right in the middle of the field. It's defended by 22 HB. They will have the disc now to tie the game up once more. High. Wow, that's really well reeled in by Stockley. Now goes back into the centre for Tempest. Speaking of Shakespeare. Looking downfield.
Spruce back to Tempest.
Can the Beardevils weather the storm? Oh, what a snatch that is from Zaheen. Good Lord. The lightning quick reactions there, speaking of the storms. And then maybe got a little bit heated with the hammer over the top. Wow, what a grab.
It was a fantastic grab and one of those moments where the adrenaline was pumping a bit much and he's ready to shoot to the end zone. Unfortunately, need to be a bit more conservative as now Beardevils get a chance to go back down the pitch.
It's one of the oldest pieces of kind of accepted ultimate wisdom, isn't it? The conservation of greatness, that if you do something really good, don't do something bad afterwards, and then hammers it into the end zone, and we are tied up at 5 apiece with the insta-hammer for the goal.
Absolutely fantastic awareness. First of all, to come across and get that poach interception and to immediately turn around and throw the sketchy hammer, because let's be honest, it was kind of sketchy.
A little bit sketchy.
A little bit sketchy, but that's why we love Charlie Haslam, and that's why Nate Sanders is such a reliable defender, or receiver.
Like kind of the rough outline of like an early Picasso. It's just a little bit sketchy.
It's kind of like Thor, the Dark World. That's not great.
No, but it turned out to be incredibly lucrative.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good. Keeping it on the weekend's Marvel theme. I tell you what, there were some decent costumes doing the rounds last night. Who was the team that came as Ant-Man and the Wasp and the various ants? Caversham. Where even is Caversham? Is it in Reading? Okay. They are not Reading, but they're about Reading. Okay, good. You know what? I appreciate that. I think they were the only team who really properly fully committed to costumes as a team unit, and that is to be respected, genuinely.
It's one of my favorite things about party tournaments is really well executed team costumes. I've had the fortune to be in a couple of great ones in my time, and I've seen so many brilliant ones.
The Sussex's women team went to Siege of Limerick one year. Can't remember what the theme was. It might have been Monty Python. They all went as the bearded ladies from the stoning in the Life of Brian. So there aren't any women here, are there? No. Great costume. Oh, Samuels has gone a real bomb of this one. It's a howitzer of a forehand. In stride at the back of the end zone.
I feel like your affection for Cam Sam is infectious because I'm starting to develop feelings. It's quite impressive.
They are men pretending to be women, pretending to be men. Women pretending to be men, pretending to be women, pretending to be men.
This is like that classic argument between
quantum,
Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny.
This is getting it almost into a who's on first scenario.
Abbott and Costello.
And honestly, who's on first? I think it's so good, so good. Genuinely, I would like to find players, form a team called like who's on, like the retired baseball players, the baseball players retirement home, and have players like who, what, naturally, stuff like that. I'd love that. It's exactly the sort of niche thing that appeals to me, evidently. Here we go, 6-5 now, with the Beardevils taking a lead after that put to the back of the end zone, has to lay out, but does keep it alive. I'm trying to find out exactly where the 2-2 is. It's located, it's on the sideline. This one, it's a spicy little blade downfield. It's very effective. Now a little lead pass, had to hold up a little bit to make the catch. Players running through. Oh, miscommunication. I think maybe she saw it and then looked at someone else and then maybe thought, do I pull out, committed to it, but didn't quite have the execution ready on the throw, and the fast break opportunity, unfortunately, is frittered away.
And that is another costly turnover. Hopefully they can get another interception and immediately send it to recover like last time.
So Kemp finds underneath pass the unmistakable figure of Neil McCulloch. Oh, across the field, it's risky and it's dangerous, and it put enough pressure on the D to force the turnover. Brown couldn't quite wrap his hands around it. I wish I knew more Dan Brown novels.
You really don't.
No, I mean, I wish I knew the titles of more Dan Brown novels. I tried reading the Da Vinci Code. It's not particularly well written. I sound like a real snob saying that, I know, but I think it's not like a literary hot take necessarily. You're not reading it for the craft. You're reading it for the story. So the disc's in the backfield now with Sanders. Goes over the top and finds it down the sideline, trying to thread it through. Going to a similar position on the previous possession. This time, dump is much more secure. It's always must be risky when you get the disc in pretty much exactly the same situation. You think, oh God, don't spaff it like last time.
Or, you know, spaff it.
I mean, oh, just bounced off the fingertips. Maybe a little bit high. Case of knowing the receiver, perhaps.
Yeah, well, it's one of those Maris Christina A is normally so reliable in that situation, but the disc popped up slightly outside of her comfort catch zone, and then the percentages get lower.
That's the thing. It's about knowing the receiver. You know, throwing to you is going to be very different from throwing to me, for example, because you can jump and things like that, and I very much cannot. And you've got to shape and change your throws for forever who your target is, as there is a timeout called on the far sideline by McCulloch, knowing that perhaps with another break here, they could take a bit of a stranglehold in this game.
It is a big opportunity for them. And maybe when you're looking downfield and you just see it's been a few turns, things are getting a little bit messy, let's call a timeout, let's clean it up, and let's really lock in for the next 30 seconds. We're playing Ultimate. You've got to like the Beardevils. They've seemed a bit more composed, but on the flip side, 22 HV Plus, they've had more highlight plays. They've got some real sparks on their team, and maybe they could catch fire.
Perhaps they well could. I mean, you know, as a Beardevil, you're probably a bit used to playing with fire, I guess. I'm trying to think of more puns about Dare. Does anyone know any other famous Daredevils apart from Evel Knievel?
I don't know if you'd... what's he called? Is it like Alex Hanold or something? The guy who climbed El Capitan with no rope?
Oh, yeah, the
Alex
free
Arnold?
solo climbing. Yeah. Or someone like the Nitro Circus sort of people, like Travis Pastrana.
Travis Pastrana, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Travis Pastrana, that'll do.
I guess like Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, yeah, some of the Jackass guys, I guess.
They do have that new movie coming out that I'm...
Is there? There's another Jackass film coming out.
Yeah, I'm in two minds about seeing it.
Honestly, there are some of it that I just would not watch. Like, the worst bit is the one where they give themselves paper cuts.
That is the
Oh.
worst one. Out of all of the crazy stuff they've ever done, that is by far the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
And it's because you can immediately relate to how painful it is.
Yep. Like, I've never had, say, 10 tons of water hit me at once, but I have absolutely gotten a paper cut.
I also like the scene in the first one where they do the skateboarding with like Tony Hawk while wearing the sumo fat suits. It's very funny.
Like, in fairness, they do have a lot of funny bits to them.
But it's like, honestly, people who do that sort of stuff, I think they are absolutely insane. Like, genuinely, I do not know what possesses them to do it.
The desire to not have to get a real job, I imagine.
You know what? As someone who also has not a real job, I respect that.
Like, look at what we're doing right now.
Right? Except this is a lot less dangerous.
It's true, but then again, you are a nerd.
No, we established we're the jocks, they're the nerds.
Of course.
We, the people sitting behind the desk, are the jocks, and they, the people playing sport, are the nerds.
Clearly they're the nerds. Look at them.
Because they're the ones doing ultimate frisbee, like that's a real sport.
Yeah, that's nerdy.
And we are the ones
not doing that.
No, we're the ones who are kind of poking a little bit of fun at the people playing ultimate frisbee
Exactly.
in
What's
a loving
more
way.
jockish than that?
Exactly. See?
We're so cool. I imagine everyone in the live comment section agrees.
We're so cool that we know strap our backpacks. There we go. That one's floaty. It's over the top. And that is absolutely ripped out of the sky by 22 HV.
That was very impressive on the defensive end.
And now they're trying to find it on the far sideline. Oh, the low. The disc is gone deep because there's a cutter there. Comes and attack it. Tries to toe the sideline, but enough pressure was applied that they couldn't make the catch stick. And, well, the timeout didn't necessarily quite go to plan that time.
No, not quite, but they've got another opportunity.
Turnout?
Let's see when they can turn. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the turnout thing.
Turnout for what? It's definitely a turnout. It's
yeah. It's
I mean,
tactical.
if your play out of the timeout is just to float one into the end zone and see what happens, I think maybe you could probably draw up a better timeout. Olo McCulloch down the sideline. Oh, I mean, he got there. Would he have been in bounds? I'm not sure. But you've got to admire the attempt.
I think we'd have to have at least claimed he was in bounds out of respect.
Right, exactly. If like, if you're not sure, benefit of the doubt, did it look cool?
And it looked very cool even when he didn't catch it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you had caught it, I think we would have lost our collective minds.
What's left of them anyway.
Right? I know Glastonbury's hard work. Genuinely, it is. Like, I know people think we just come and have a bit of a booze up, but it is like...
It's hard to come and have a bit of a booze up all day for 2 days, okay?
While also doing, like, for us, I mean, the commentary, it hurts the voice a little bit, but it's much easier than compared to Ant manning the production or Vez on the camera all day.
They've been putting in a real shift.
They have indeed. They work so hard, and I do not think they get the love they deserve. Oh, woof, zinged it through, but McCulloch was wise to it and used all of that massive 6-foot-plus frame, the full length of the wingspan.
Lots of turnovers in this point, but most of them coming off really impressive defensive pressure.
Pivot around, that's a beautiful break. Dan Brown toes it in the end zone. 7-5, the Beardevils lead. And I still don't know any more Dan Brown novels.
There's Angels and Demons.
Yeah, but I'm trying to. I think I've got potential to think for later. I'm trying to think of more. I might do a bit of Googling. Do you mind?
No, I mean, as long as you go into the tent or something, you can't do it out here. You'll get indecent exposure.
All right, I'll allow it. I'm going to allow this.
Mind if I use your office to Google myself?
By the way, open the phone. The previous tab was open was Tyler from Mystery Day.
Ah, yes, Chris Evans. Incredibly important breakthrough role.
I love that. Oh, here we are. All right, there's a few for you there.
So right now, 2 points ahead and looking to take half with not a whole lot of game time left in the plate final. Beardevils on the edge.
Just under 25 minutes left at this point.
That's Goose with the disc, playing it back to Joe Littler.
And now here's Luke Amos. A little bit of interplay around the back as we see some more zone coming out from the Beardevils. Maybe they're just trying to set the traps for these flying bids to come through.
We haven't seen too many flying bids outside of McCulloch from the Beardevils.
They're just biding their time. They're waiting for the opportunity.
This is really nice quick give and go play against the zone.
Oh, beautiful backhand down the line. Brilliantly weighted. Lovely curve on it as well to get it right in the path. And, oh, could fake that one. And then really leans out for that pivot. Trying to find the option in the end zone. Oh, she is wide, wide open. The Goose gets loose for 7-6.
That's what they needed. A nice hold. Very confident hold. No turns at all, especially after the last point, which had, what, like 3-4 turns each? And smooth all the way down. Swinging. Easy. Quick as well. Incredibly swift. No one really held the disc longer than 2 or 3 seconds. So a bit of confidence being shown by 22. HV, a bit of positivity. And that's exactly what you need on a Sunday evening.
A bit of. Oh,
so
hello.
now,
Hello.
drawing upon one of the powers and utilizing their Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone, to mind feck their opponents, also known as the Wakanda Stone, is being played.
And what this means is everyone on the pitch at once. I wonder if there's a reason why this stone is particularly powerful to 22 HV. I wonder.
Huh. Is there a way that their numbers could work against them?
No. Coming out on defense. Okay, we're going to play a zone. You for a chase. We're going to have a 6-man cup.
This is actually absolutely genius.
Wings,
wait
wings,
until
wings,
defense
wings,
so
wings,
they
wings,
can tie
dig.
it up right before half.
Guys, I
This
mean,
is such a genius moment to play this.
they're obviously big fans of Galaxy Point, right? And this is, oh, hang on, this is the last game of the weekend for these two teams as well, so it doesn't, so we just get to keep this now.
Yep.
Oh, the power, excellent. Might pawn this off on the black market. How many units do you think I could get for it?
A half.
Half a unit. What is that like a bottle of like 0.5% beer?
Something like that, I
Yeah,
imagine.
done. A little stubby or something.
Or like a really small buff guy.
All right, fair cop.
Oh, there's the aggression. Wakanda forever is the call. 22 HV positive.
Wakanda's a lot whiter than I remember it.
You know, after the first movie was so successful, they had to tailor it to the audience.
That is true. I tell you what, they are going for the zone. You know what? Because you can't really play match defense when half of your players have no one to match up against.
You got to start stalling. There's a huge hammer. If that comes off, that is unforgivable.
How can there be a pick?
That's a bit cheeky to try and call a pick.
Like, at this point, because you're probably being picked more by your own players, especially as well. Like, you can just... Good, they've disallowed pick. They've finally seen the future of Ultimate.
Oh, there'd be so many more injuries if you made picks legal.
Oh, he's gone for the hammer again, so he's obeyed the Glasto rules, and it worked! This is what happens when you obey Glasto rules.
Why do we have to wait until the plate final for someone to actually do that?
See, there's a reason it was in the rules. Oh, my word!
They are throwing themselves about.
Maybe a bit too hard.
Is this going to be a discussion about dangerous play?
Or a foul call?
Might be that they both had hands on the disc.
Ooh, that would be spicy.
Something about having this many players is, I get that you want to play a zone, but I would play both. You need to dedicate one person to shadow each of their players and then use the rest of your players to play a zone.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it. Blade is launched deep in it. Well, they didn't necessarily do the most effective job at dealing with it, but they had enough bodies in the way to prevent it being completed. And I think this is the difficult thing, is how do you score when there's so many players? I mean, this is the longest vertical stack I've ever seen. Oh, they're going for a side. They're going for the side stack. Basically, let's get everyone out of the way.
This is genius. Next level. And of course, you have to respond with zone when you've got such fewer players for the Beardevils.
Hello, there's a snake in the grass in the back.
Really clever
Spotted
defense.
that one. Snake in the grass is a nice idea. It doesn't work so well when half of your kit is luminous orange.
They need to get this downfield quickly. If they give it up this close to their own end zone, it'll be a score. There you go. That was necessary.
Whoa, there you go. That's how you bring up Galaxy Point. You just loz the overhead deep, right on the money. Bang, snake in the grass couldn't spring up fast enough. 7-0, Galaxy Point. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasto.
Crouching Cam Samuels, hidden cobweb. He wasn't able to stop that at all. Excellent hammer, though. That was like a three-quarter pitch length hammer that went over, I don't know, 24 people.
Look, I admire the snake in the grass play. I think it generally works better when the snake in the grass is a little bit taller.
It's tough. They're doing what they can with what they've got. But
it's like, as a small player, a lot of the time when you're beating people in the air, it's not because you're out jumping them, it's because you can get that position early. And if you're in the grass, if you're lying down, you can't get that position early.
The thing that I used to try and do, because I'm not the tallest, is I would like crouch down a little bit so it doesn't affect your speed. And I'll just try to hide behind the tall receiver that they're looking for so they don't realize I'm also in the mix.
Just lurking in the shadows.
I did a lot of lurking in the shadows, yeah.
So, by the way, this stone now passes to the Beardevils, and they can also play it in this game.
Which is something I'm not sure makes the most sense for them, but you never know.
But they might have just thought that it was a good. They might have just thought that it was a good laugh, and they want to do it again. And you know what? I can respect that. So on Galaxy Point, we will see what happens. Looking to try and isolate the handler up the line. Instead, the reset activates and it's swung into the center. Kemp's pass is low and it can't be rescued. And they're going to shoot it into the end zone and they break on Galaxy Point. And 22 HV have rode the momentum from Wakanda into an 8-7 halftime lead.
It shows you two things. One, that momentum is definitely real. And two, the power of the Infinity Stones. That's just an aspect of this year's Glastonbury. And it is so crucial for teams to try to get them, to try and work them to their advantage on the show game as well. With those kind of numbers, perfect execution, really great strategy, really great display of heart, as now 22 HV positive looking to take the plate back to that one house where all of them lost so much respect for each other, but found a lot of love.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I'm not sure I agree with what you did. Like, I'm not sure I enjoyed it, but damn if I don't respect it. going to take a little bit of a half-time break for the teams, especially because they got everyone on the pitch, so I think everyone might need a little bit of a breather, to be fair.
That was a pretty intense point, but one that worked out for them. And then, so quickly on Galaxy point, they get the turn and punch it in immediately.
Yeah, it was a very clinical Galaxy point from a 22 HV perspective. And there is, what, about 15 minutes left in this game? Yeah, 15 and a half minutes left. So, you know, there is time for the pendulum to continue swinging back and forth. There could well yet be a sting in the tail of this game. A little M. Night Shyamalan-style twist.
I'm sure that's what the Beardevils are hoping for. They can go out there, they can take some risks. They're going to have to.
Play a little bit loose.
Around the hoose. You got to be careful with Goose on the opposite
You do have
side,
to be
though.
with Goose on the loose, yeah.
Yeah. Goose having a great game for themselves. A couple other people having a great game on that side. Charlie Stockley.
It's very much
Amy
not.
Stevens,
Ben
Ben Tempest.
This is very much not an untitled Goose game. Like, Goose has got the title this game.
Well, they're fighting for the title of Plate Champions, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe it will be an untitled Goose game if they don't bring it home.
As of yet, untitled, but potentially titled Goose Game.
Have you played it?
I've watched people play it, and it looks hilarious.
So good. It's a quiet day in the village, and you are a horrible goose. Genuinely, it just came from like a Slack chat they had. It's like, look, aren't geese horrible? Yeah, they're really mean. It's like, we've got a game in this. Honestly, like the way some people come up with these ideas is just brilliant. Like, I wonder how many metaphorical pints deep Ed was when he just said, tell you what, let's have Infinity Stones, do some nonsense stuff. And I think it's worked brilliantly.
I think nonsense comes quite naturally to Ed. It's more like a daily thing. I know it's something that every day I battle with.
Yep. I mean, it comes with the territory, really. You have to be a little bit...
A nonsense merchant?
And I have at the past, at tournaments, been called Nonsense Man.
Yep.
Genuinely. By... Like, it was a thing that happens. Like, you guys got a lot of injuries this weekend, you know. The ankle, the guy who broke his thumb, the nonsense man. Oh, he's not injured. He's just...
No. They were calling you a nonce.
No, I don't think that's an insult that really works in Belgium. Like, in here, yeah, absolutely. Like, just anything someone does that's even so slightly fishy in any way, it comes straight out. It's like a staple of the British language, in the English language. British is not a language. Pick up 2 for not paying attention, Benj. There we go, we're back on the field of play. That break was crucial for 22 HV because now they can do the 2 for none. Just about kept that one in the grasp. Big fake deep, but it doesn't go. Just dishing it around the back at the moment. Swinging it around, now towards the far sideline.
Really impressive grab by Christina A.
Hey. Tell you what, it's getting a bit muggy out here, isn't it? Sweating a little bit.
It is getting a wee bit muggy.
It's because it's a spicy plate final.
That's going to probably stand to the advantage of 22, given that, you know, they're just running this zone right now. They're just swinging it back and forth across and making them expend all this energy.
And as well as that, they're called 22 because there are 22 of them.
Well, there you go.
Allegedly.
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 That was a little bit spicy. It worked out for him.
He knew what he was doing when he told them how to... Yeah, etc., etc. I can't be... I don't think the joke was good enough to follow through with. But this is very calm and very assured, it has to be said. Finally, they're stagnating a little bit, but they've got that... But when they see that, those handlers do clear all the way through, and they're happy to lose the yardage. They don't seem to mind that.
They've been losing yardage for a while now, so you've got to imagine just how exhausted Webster, Samuels are. Doing such a good job chasing back and forth.
But, you know, at some point, you do have to try and get the timing of the cuts downfield a little bit better, so you're not just working it through the same 3 players over and over again. You're getting those players involved, and you're getting them touches of the disc. So when a crucial pass comes their way, they're not left a little bit cold-cocked.
Things can snap under when they get too cold. And it has been an awful lot.
I mean, it has happened.
Luke Annis and Charlie Haslam just passing it back and forth.
It's happened to me on this very field, where I finally had to do some running after ages, and then I pulled a hamstring, and my word, it hurt. Do not recommend getting injured at a fun tournament. Thankfully, I was not driving home, because that would have been, well, it would have been impossible, I think. I genuinely don't think I could move my leg in that way. Swinging it towards the back now.
That's some balletic movement.
Ibrahim clears out all the way through. He's spotting his pink tutu. Finds the thread through. And again, but they're only ever getting to halfway, and then they have to go back again. It's a question of how long can they keep the patience?
It's a real battle of patience against endurance on the defensive side.
And it's one of those things where, you know, if you can, you know, there might be 90-95% passes, that's a really nice snag. But if you make enough of them, the odds of you winning drastic go down.
If you make them throw 100 passes, then 99%, and they're all 90% throws, they'll turn over.
Done over 10 times on average. Hashtag maths.
Quick maths.
We need to get some Steiner maths in here.
If you make 100 throws.
But, oh my goodness, the trailing edge grab. My heart skipped a beat, but he made it work.
Really impressive stuff, but you see how hard they're having to work, and they've just about rescued possession twice already, and they're still in their own half. They're not doing a great job of creating space behind the wings to throw it over the top to. Although now there's holes appearing. And there's the space behind the wing. Really well done.
Picking out a tall receiver downfield, popping up to make the catch, and now disc goes into the backfield, looking, faking the offhand. Oh, jink and jive, and then the hand block gets the turn. And I tell you what, there's a Bear contingent on the far side who are very pleased with that.
Really impressive hand block. Right when they needed it, stopped them in front of the end zone. Looked like they'd finally unlocked the zone, and maybe a little bit of complacency had crept into the minds of 22 after spending so long just going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Sometimes it takes you so long that you're just making more passes than perhaps you need to. And they've got the turnover there for Dar Bears. Underneath, nice simple one to begin the possession. Brooks is going to have to keep it for a little bit longer because there is a pick.
I think you can tell what they want to do offensively.
Do you think it's send McCulloch deep in jacket?
Oh, it absolutely is.
Oh, there you go. We'll see if it works.
Oh, it does.
Oh, hello. There is debate about in or out.
I thought that was in.
There are a lot of people placed on the sideline there who probably had a good view.
I imagine. They are also all Bears players.
Well, there's someone there who's not a Bear.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's one person.
They're from Bristol. Oh.
Oh, really?
Can you, Anthony, is it possible to get the replay again? They've called it a turnover, even though it looked cool. On the replay, we seem to think it was out. Actually, all the Bears down there seem to agree as well. So, yeah, good. Good result. Nice Spirit all round. Spirit was the real winner. Yada, 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 yada. I'll tell you what, okay, very close to keeping it in, though. Very good attempt.
Really, really good hustle.
Time ticking away. Just under 8 minutes left in this game now. Still just the 1 point in it with 22 HV leading 8-7. So no goals as of yet in this second half. This point is becoming a real bit of a grind.
They're just sweeping it back and forth. The odd crash coming through, but then not there for the continuation.
Generally, it's just dink and dunk down the field.
Which you don't mind doing when you're the team in the lead and you're watching the time expire. That was really important, stepping in to get that. But there's no handlers following their throw. So they're always relying on a further cut.
And sliding into the end zone. 22 HV make the grab.
Joe Littler. Now, something he did fantastic there was the passing and moving. Not always involved, but he came back. He also had that unreal layout on the previous possession that their team had. But he was throwing it, moving somewhere else, and then coming back in. And that's something you need against those kinds of zones, where you throw and then get the disc past the marks and then get yourself past the marks. Collect the pop from the person you just threw it to, and you can jump past the second line of the front of the zone. And at that point, you should be able to just dish it out to whoever was on the other side of the wings.
There's a lot to be said for pass and move as well, because the defenders will lose sight of you for a little bit, and then you will pop up in a place where perhaps they didn't expect. If you've got someone whose job it is to track you a little bit, you pull them out of space and you free it up, as opposed to passing it and staying in that situation where, you know, yeah, you might be free to get it back, but you haven't necessarily gained anything by doing so. You're not asking questions of the defense necessarily.
Exactly, asking questions of them like, wait, where the hell did that person go? Which is a question Joe Littler had them asking constantly as he kept getting the disc, passing it off, and then attacking the backs, by which I mean running behind people.
Yeah, not so little on that possession, I guess. 9-7 now the score. 22 HV lead. Looks like Imi Stevens is going to pull here. Big wind up. This looks big. I think it looks too big. Oh,
yeah,
get out of the gym.
It's so close as well because it didn't move much once it landed.
Yeah, it just too much on it. Again, we've said it before. Someone had their performance-enhancing drugs for breakfast.
Just like Mama used to
Allegedly.
make.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Can't sue us.
Exactly. Unless your name is Al Allegedly, in which case we've done a lot of slander.
Oh, that's a lot.
Oof.
I hear that guy's a jerk anyway.
Allegedly. Here's Brooks. Oh, wait, Mood steps out. That doesn't work. Why you put a lot of heat on that one? Millwood Boast reels it in. High grab. That is some snag from Kemp. Across all the way to the near side. On the precipice of the end zone. Dunn looks around. Centres to Millwood Boast once more. Millwood Boast looking for some good vibrations in the end zone. Finds a pass through. Spence on the end zone. Just a little pop into the end zone for the goal. Finds Mirando. And that was a much more comfortable point there for the Beardevils. They're still down by 1. They trailed 9-8.
But like you said, much more comfortable. Ducking and diving around the pitch. Those quick throws that they were using to great effect at the start of the game. You can tell that's really their preferred style. Shortcuts. Take the step, lose the person, attack the open space, get it quickly. Lots and lots of movement. Cam Samuels, again, heavily involved. Akash helping move that disc around.
Something I do want to say is that since I looked up some more Dan Brown novels, we haven't seen Dan Brown really get as involved, which is typical. It's like, yes, I've got all these things ready. Do some stuff.
It's probably the commentary gods punishing you for not having it prepared.
Yeah, well, this is I've told people this before, that one of the things to commentary is you prepare, especially if you get the time, you prepare a lot of resources going into a game, and 90% of the stuff you get, you just never find a use for, and you have to be willing to let that go by the wayside, no matter how interesting it is sometimes.
It is tough. You don't want to be jamming it in at inappropriate moments.
Even though, sometimes it is necessary just to jam it in the jam hole, but,
Sometimes you have to. Or sometimes maybe even custard it in the custard hole.
I thought they outlawed that.
There you go into international waters. It's a good time.
Oh, yeah. Free country out there. There's match defense well called by the offense, but 22 HV. Woof, another big bid comes through. Again, not quite getting there. Good hold under pressure. And that one gets through the back. Was there a foul? No, there was not. Opportunity for the Bears to tie it up with just about 3 minutes left in this game. Centering pass. Goes to Kemp. He's launched it. He's looking for McCulloch on the far side of the end zone, but too much edge on that one. Goes out of the side of the end zone. In the end, the opportunity goes to waste.
It's so difficult to get that inside-out, inside break as a leading pass, especially when you're trying to get it off quick enough to get past the force, because it's a pretty easy thing for a force to block. It's right next to where your foot's going to be. And as you swing your arm, you're swinging it in the opposite direction to the position your wrist has to be in. And I see that happen all the time.
It's a little pop off there. In the center, finds Zahim. Goes around, looks for the backhand, doesn't like it, and then goes for the barbecue backhand to the force open side. I know that was an oxymoron. Ignore it. Never happened.
I don't know what you're talking about, apart from some great ultimate here at Glastonbury 22. 2021 with 22.
Yes, 22 HV. That's what you were meant to. That's
always saying. Johannes with a big blade all the way across.
Not quite in the end zone just yet. I think maybe he thought about throwing it in, but decided actually it's much more important that I make the catch, and then I can just pop it into the end zone. Still get an assist to tally on the side on the sleeve of the shirt, and they restore the 2-point advantage at 10-8 with Lorna Mayo making the grab.
A big 2-point advantage to go, because, like you said, there's about 2 minutes left in the game. Did you know that 22 HV Plus have their stats on their arms, which is very handy for us if they could come and show them off a little bit more. But it's not. It's all the 4 major stats in Ultimate that the commentators rely on: goals, assists, blocks, and
turns,
and mistakes.
Yes, errors.
Shall we say errors?
Errors
of judgment, errors of execution, just general life decisions. You know,
general life decisions,
major issues. 10-8. 2-point gap, and the horn's probably going to go during this point if we're being realistic.
I would expect so. I might put it ready on there just so that people are ready and waiting for it. Could go up and try and do it in someone's face. Might be funny.
Only if you like hit it as a flower.
Oh, well, like clown
Would you
style.
like to smell my flower? Would I?
To be fair, that would be a great joke, actually. I respect that. So Beardevils will try and cut this lead to 1 going into the cap here. Samuels again has bombed a flick deep, looking for the big man downfield, and it's too big, in fact. Can't be reeled in by Owen Brooks. So can they make the third? Can they extend this lead before the cap goes on? Good backup there. 5, 4, 3. And the hooter goes just before the catch is made. So that will be 11-8, game to 12.
That was close. Quite the time for it to come in. I was watching the lineup of the shot as Hattie Barber was preparing to send it all the way down the field. Really well done. Ben Tempest storming down the pitch and collecting it. So that's going to be a game to 12.
They've got one. So potentially only 1 point left in this game if 22 HV can get there's another break on the board. You feel 11-8. They only need 1 more point to win. They are very much in the driving seat here, Lorcan.
They did seem like they were the team who had more potential for the electric plays, those kind of things that when you're in this situation, you need someone to just bust out and maybe change the face of the game. Right now, you'd have to back them being able to run out winners.
I think as well, because they've just got a much bigger squad as well, so they might have just a little more gas left in the tank after what I'm sure has been a heavy weekend in more ways than one.
And really, you got to point right back to that Power Stone play, where they went Wakanda forever.
That was the turning point.
22 HV positive right now. Really smart. Brought on all of those 22 players, allegedly, to back them up and put the pressure on. And that's when it all turned around. They've been cruising since. Well, there's been a lot of turnovers, but they've been the ones coming up with the scores.
So McCulloch finds Brooks coming underneath. Continuation goes to Dan Brown. And Dan Brown was just about reeled in. Goes backwards again, faking, trying to find an option. Big bid comes through, but doesn't get there, and Brooks fakes downfield.
Eleanor Stratton trying hard to get that pink. Oh, excellent D.
And just thrown into traffic, and Amy Stevens is there to knock it to the floor. So now the disc will be in the hands of 22 HV with a chance to win the plate. Very fashionable, stylish, clean plate.
To match the fashionable, stylish headband.
Absolutely. There's a little backhand down the line, toes it in under pressure from Dan Brown. Trying to, do a little bit of deception there. But it was wise to the deception point. That's a Dan Brown novel. Just in case it wasn't clear what I was doing there. Try to get the inside, lasered through. However, it was well read and knocked to the floor.
Is Hasty Shoehorn a Dan Brown novel by any chance?
The tenuous pun. Gee, that sounds like a pub, doesn't it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
The tenuous pun.
The tenacious pun. Tenacious P.
Oh, hello. This is utilising the full width of the pivot to get in the block, but that time Dan Brown couldn't quite find the way to unlock the digital fortress. I'm really just kind of mashing them in now, because this might well be the last point.
Hattie Barber with the disc, sends it down. Charlie Haslam's underneath it.
Oh,
he
misreads!
And Amy Stevens couldn't clean it up behind him.
I do have a taxi here for a misread. Is there a misread anywhere? Maybe they're just looking a little bit flustered, like a bit eager to close the game out, perhaps. And if you do see it, perhaps you're like, okay, we can get this. We can finish it in one pass, where actually sometimes you just need to, what's that phrase? Discretion is the better part of valor. Where you can be a bit more valiant by showing a little bit more discretion.
McCullough's not showing a lot of discretion right now. That was a highlight play to save possession.
Here is the aforementioned McCulloch. Fakes that high release flick. Looking underneath again, faking a flick. Not really seeing the options, and eventually Owen Brooks comes through. He's got it on this near sideline. Downfield, bid comes in. It's a beat late. Spence holds under pressure, looks to try to get it off the sideline. Goes up line, but that will be a pick.
Lots of really intense running. This is feeling like the closing point of a plate final. Every single cut is being contested every single step of the way.
I think that was a violation. Just got on his bike a little bit too early there. Eager beaver.
Well, you can't be allowing
beaver.
that.
And now it's checked in. Spence looks to isolate the reset. Instead, try and jam it up line, but they were wise to it.
That's Littler getting a great intercepted block.
That takes the underneath at the second time of asking. Once there's a little bit less traffic in the way. Player is wide open. Can they make the most of it? Just give and go, bounce off it, and eventually the force comes in to close that gap.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Spruce Goose connection for the winning point.
Oh, we might see it here. The greatest for the win at the back of the end zone. Good Lord. What more can you do about that?
As was obvious to everyone, the pink tutu indicates the best player on the team and the one who's going to win the plate with the literal greatest play that exists in our sport.
I mean, like, not only to have the presence of mind to try and execute it, but it was a brilliant little chicken wing style flick back in bounds. Credit the backup as well for catching it at the back of the end zone. And 22 HV plus are your plate winners at Glastonbury Tournament 2021 with a greatest to win it as well.
I mean, they deserve it. What else are you going to do?
I mean, what can you, sometimes you just throw your hands up and, you know, clearly the tutu was for the play of the day. And I think we have seen it. It'll have to go some way to beat that in the Glastonbury final, which is coming up next with the Bombear Bearsicle Cubs taking on Devon Masters. That game kicks off at 4 o'clock local time, so in just under 10 minutes' time.
I am ready, and we will see you there.
Don't go away.
Alti.tv